Alright guys, welcome back. We are watching Nekomonogatari Kuro, Episode 3, Part 3 of Tsubasa Family. Last time, we met Black Hanakawa, had some interesting discussions about, like, the nature of aberrations and all that stuff. I still don't know if I'm just, like, crazy and overthinking all of this, but I don't think I am. I don't know. Listen to my last discussion for my thoughts on all of that, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's interesting to think about, like, especially because, like, mechanically, like, how aberrations work in the world versus, like, the actual purpose they serve in the story, and if those things are even any different. I don't know, whatever. And of course we had the talk with Oshino at the end about how Aragi can't do anything and he should give up. So sounds good to me. um, yeah, I don't know. Let's just get into this. We are watching episode 3 of Nekomonogatari Kuro. You can line up your own copy with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Oh, he is doing stuff. I guess he's at her house. Is she here? Oh, okay. All right. That was an interesting intro. What's he? Okay. Hmm. God, I'm just thinking about how sad it is. Oh, the lyrics are different, but the subtitles aren't changed. That's unfortunate. Like, she's obviously saying different things than the lyrics up here. But I do not have different subtitles. Maybe I should check the other ones, the other subtracks, and see. Yeah, like the whole thing's different. Man, come on. Hmm. Okay, well, good to know that the lyrics are different. I hope I can. I hope one of the subtracks has them, because this one didn't. Sneaking in, huh? Well, I guess no one's here, right? Her parents are in the hospital. He took off his shoes. Come on. Hmm. Okay. He's so cool. What happened? All right, like, let's calm down. Like, come on. Surely there's not, like, a torture chamber where they tie her up every night or something. Like, I don't, like, come on. It can't be that bad, whatever you saw. Skihi, put some clothes on, please. What happened? Okay. She doesn't have a room? She just doesn't have one? Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense, right? Like, not, I mean, not that like, that's crazy. I just mean, like, you know, she doesn't have a room, you know? Man, that has really affected him, huh? Hmm, thank you. What does that mean? Oh, yeah, true. I forgot about that. The 200 missed calls. Okay, yeah, that would be insane. That's a crazy guess. Oh, okay. Hmm. Haven't heard of it. Energy drain. I wish you would. What are you doing? Uh-huh, uh-huh. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Smooth. Nice one. Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Mm. Of course. Yeah, 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 yeah. He doesn't think he has the right to help her. Hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like his the fantasy of what Hanakawa is for him, right? Yeah. I think you should have ignored the gauze. Hmm. Of course. Hmm. Okay. He's convinced himself he's not in love with her off of that. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. That's just a very strange thing to think. Hmm. Hi, Senjo. Oh, what happened? I guess he got beat. He got shot with an arrow. What? Hmm. Thought it was supposed to be super weak. Come on. Whoa. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like, I, I'm questioning this whole idea of like categorizing aberrations as just deciding, oh, it's a Sawari Neko, so it can't be that strong, you know? Because it always depends on the situation, right? And like what actually, you know. Unless by like, well, we'll talk about it. There's no way. I want to talk about what they could mean, I guess, by saying it's weak, but okay. But like, man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about any of this. Yeah, uh-huh. Because it's the perfect thing for her, right? Okay. Well, I don't know about that. I thought you already heard that from your sisters. I guess it was just a rumor, though. I don't know. Yeah, because it's obviously not just a Sawari Neko. She's not just being possessed. Like, I just don't. Like, come on. I think she would want you to think that she's just being possessed, you know? Like, the way she thinks about her problem and what it represents. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Just that's such an interesting thing to say. Just because of, like, in my mind, I guess the way I've been interpreting what this Sawari Neko is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds right to me. Sounds about right to me. Oof. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Hmm. Well, okay, um, like, okay, I guess he replaced himself with a tree. Okay, that's good. Am I thinking about it wrong? I guess in my mind, Hanakawa and the Sawari Neko and what it represents becoming one would be like a good thing. But I guess if we're thinking about the Sawari Neko being a representation of the way Hanakawa views her emotions, then it would be bad because of like what that means for her, you know? Because I guess it is like a negative representation of her feelings because that's how she views her feelings, you know? And that's like what an aberration is. Okay, like, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure that's all you're thinking about right now. Okay. Why are you here? Yeah. Yeah, yes. There actually is. Hmm. Does she want him to fight her, I wonder, right? Would that be him helping her with her problem, essentially? Yeah, that's how she would view it, right? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I guess she would think of it like that too, right? That's just what I'm saying is this whole Sawari Neko thing. Like, yeah, it's just that. Hmm. And obviously, like, it's been explicitly stated that the way you think of and view an aberration changes what it is, you know? I mean, hmm. You have no room. She doesn't have a room? Like, that's just insane. I just, like, where does she sleep? Like, what do you mean? I guess it makes sense why she's just always wandering around outside, you know? I mean, and of course, I think Aragi he wants it to be an aberration, right? I mean, it is an aberration, but it's like her, you know? Like, he wants it to be like the something taking over her mind and it not being her, so we can maintain his illusion of her, right? Awesome. Hmm. No, I know you aren't. Uh-huh. It's interesting, like hmm, the whole idea of taking advantage of her kindness is interesting. Yeah. Because I don't really think that's actually a problem for her at all. Well, I don't know. I guess. Okay, sure. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would not bury a cat on the side of the road. Yeah, thank you. I would not do that. I wouldn't even think it, not gonna lie. Sure, okay, but hmm, I don't really know if I believe you that she thinks of it like that, honestly. And maybe I'm wrong, but because it's coming from Black Hanakawa's mouth, I actually don't really know if I believe her. I feel like that's how she would, like, want to feel, but I don't think that is true. Hmm. Doesn't plan to do anything. The way she calls him human, it's just very. It's impossible. Sure, it's not just your parents. I think even with her parents gone, it would build up anyway. I think the way she lives her life is causing it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he can't touch her. Man. Oh, man. Okay. Like, it's so messed up. Because like, it's all of this, the possession and everything, is just like representative of how Hanakawa sees her problem. Like it's not, and like Aragi too. Like it's the whole like his idolization of her. Okay, not good enough for her, huh? Okay, course. Of course. Make up for Kizu, right? Huh. Ugh. That was a good episode. I mean, that whole episode was just like two conversations, but it was good. There were two good conversations, so sounds good to me. Like, everything that's happening is so layered behind, like, both, like, the way Aragi is viewing things and the way we're seeing things through his eyes, and, like, how, you know, the structure of the story and everything we see is so, you know, melded into shape by like the way he thinks and views things. But it's also like the situation is entirely formed by the way Hanakawa thinks about her own problem too. You know? Like, hmm. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think a lot about like what to say. Like I don't even know. Man. Sure, sure. Sounds good to me. Man, I don't know, like when you start drinking Aragi's blood, would that make another Aragi? I guess. Um, okay, anyway. We will talk about it in the discussion. Alrighty, let's talk about the episode. I don't know. I just sat here and thought for a while because, like, God, I just don't know. First, I gotta look at the opening and see if any of the other subtitles have like the correct lyrics for the opening because she's obviously saying completely different things. And no, this doesn't even have the Japanese subs. Although, is the line different? No, I don't think so because I swear that's not this. I know I remember this line was different. Yeah, it's pretty much every line after like the first few was different. These subs, and there was no the subs didn't change. Okay, that line is different. Maybe I'll rewatch it with these subs, and maybe because yeah, this that line is different then. Okay, hmm. And I guess and then yeah, I just have the MTVB subs, but those are just like the same as the Kami subs, except no. Okay, the MTVB subs don't have it changed. It still has the same translation as the Kami or the Cole Girl subs, but the Kami subs do have the proper English translation for the new lyrics she's saying in the opening. Okay, all right, good to know. I will rewatch it later with that because I don't know. I'm just curious. It's weird that they didn't. The lyrics were like completely different, like all of them, and they just didn't change the subs for it. Like I don't know. They were lazy. I guess they probably just like on the first episode, they just did the subs for the opening, then they just put them on there every time without watching it again. Like I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Anyway, all of that aside, so Araragi breaks into Hanakawa's house and looks around. Hmm. Which, like, I guess in general, like what this scene is just like Araragi like basically just spells it out explicitly later about how it's like him looking too deeply into Hanakawa and him shattering his own illusion of her that he has, right? Like, ever since Kizu, ever since he's known Hanakawa, he's had this very extreme, idealized version of her where he thinks she's like a perfect saint that's like, you know, awesome and cool. And kind of like she is like the kind of person that he should like aspire to be like, right? Like she's very self-sacrificial in a similar way. At least that's certainly how he views her actions, right? Um, so it's like he just thinks that she's like perfect, right? We've talked about how like bad it is that he views her in that way because it just like reinforces her behavior in that sense when she's obviously not happy with it. Um, So him breaking into her house and looking around, it's like him, taking those steps to like actually look at more about her life. And, he certainly gets, I guess, not really disillusioned by it. I mean, I guess disillusioned by it. More, he kind of, has a panic attack, seeing that she doesn't have a room. Um, which, like, it's very interesting because when he learned that she was undergoing physical abuse from her parents, he did not have a reaction anywhere near as serious as this. Like his reaction to that was certainly he took it seriously and he understood that it was like awful that this was happening. But compare that to this when he learns that she doesn't have a room in her house. Um, very different, right? And I guess I've just been trying to figure out like why his reaction to this, learning that she doesn't have a room, is so extreme. And like again, obviously it's hmm. I guess I could think of like a bunch of ways you could interpret it, and I don't really know which of them are right. Like for one, in this moment, if he's still viewing her as like the perfect idealized version of her, right? You could think of it as like, oh, she's so perfect and so, she's a saint and blah, 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 all of that. And yet she doesn't even have a room. It's like it could be making him question the value of being like perfect like her in the first place. But based off what he says later about it, like shattering the illusion of her, I feel like that's not really how he's viewing it. I guess, like, obviously, like, just on the surface level, it's like, I guess Aragi's, like, kind of naive. Like, obviously, we know that he just has, like, a normal, like, supportive family. He has, like, a pretty, like, nice family life, I guess, right? So, the idea of someone's life being like this, I mean, even to me, it is, like, insane that she doesn't have a room, right? So, but for Aragi, I guess it being, like, such a significant thing that he just can't imagine it. And I guess maybe part of it is also just like that it's something that she's been dealing with this whole time. I guess it's like a realization of how significant her problem has been that he's just been like ignoring this whole time. At least certainly that's like from her point of view, I think that's how she's been thinking about it. She's been waiting for Aragi to finally come magically help her with her problem, and he hasn't been. So I wonder if part of his reaction is also that she's had this ridiculous problem this whole time that nothing has ever, that he, not only that he hasn't done anything about, but that no one has ever done anything about. That her family life is this awful, that it's this insane. Like, I guess on a level it is even worse than physical abuse, right? Um, I just can't imagine. She doesn't have a room, right? Just think about how all the time, every time we ever see her, she's just wandering around outside, just like she's never home. And the fact that she doesn't have a room just makes that even more, like, I guess there's literally just nowhere for her to, like, go home to. Like, where does she sleep? On the couch? I'd, like, man, I guess, because I guess in all those shots of her house, it shows, like, her belongings just, like, randomly strewn throughout the house, because she doesn't have a room. She doesn't have a place. And I guess just to go back to the idea of, like, the other way he could potentially be viewing it, I guess it's just, like, the idea of someone like Hanakawa and her behavior, her attitude being a perfect saint as Aragi views her, and there being no place for that, like, in the world, I guess. Again, I don't know. That, like, kind of makes sense to me. I don't really know if that's how Aragi's thinking of it, but certainly disillusions him, I suppose. I didn't realize, it's, like, why does that have a mouth? Like, come on. Hmm. Of course, the Fire Sisters want to go out and save the day from the cat. Of course, of course. It's interesting how, like, Hanakawa does have a relationship with them later in Nisei, right? Hmm. And I guess even in that sense, when she does have a relationship with them in Nisei, she kind of drags them into the kaiki thing, which Araki doesn't like too much. And Aragi's a very smooth talker and talks them out of it, so good job. That face he makes there reminds me of the ridiculous faces Aragi was making when he was talking to Karen in the toothbrush episode, asking about being bullied. Okay, so like Aragi's sitting here thinking about Hanakawa and the Metal Cat, and like again, if it's not obvious, like I just I don't know what to think about the Metal Cat thing. because to me, again, I the way I view this metal cat is like, it's what Hanakawa would want, right? Like, she wants some kind of supernatural thing to come in and save her from her problem and just fix it for her, right? Like, I guess more so, like, talking about her not having a room again. The problem is so ridiculous and so insane that she just doesn't even have a room, and that it's gone on for 15 years, and it's this bad. Um, that it really just does show how Hanakawa is just, like, hopeless. Right? Like, it really, like, again, I guess I don't want to blame her for her problem at all, but it's like, surely it doesn't have to have gotten this bad. I mean, maybe her parents are just that awful. I guess if she doesn't have a room, it has to be pretty terrible. I just literally, I just can't imagine it. I just don't. But yeah, like, Hanakawa wants some kind of magical thing to come in and fix her problem instantly for her. And, like, that's what the metal cat is doing. That's what the Sawari Neko is doing for her, right? Like, it has possessed her, it has taken her over, it has allowed her to, she's so worried about her emotions and her feelings affecting other people negatively. So, the Sawari Neko has come in and possessed her, and is letting out her stress and all of her negative emotions for her, right? It's like, it is enacting the things that she imagines her negative emotions would do to other people, right? Like what energy drain is, like she imagines her feelings and her negative emotions as being a burden on other people. Not, I mean, honestly, just her emotions in general. Like, it doesn't have to be negative, right? Like, that's why she can never confess to Araragi, right? So, I mean, just everything, anything that is relating to her at all, she imagines as a burden on other people. And the metal cat, the Sawari Neko, Black Hanakawa, energy drains people, right? Like, it's like a literal representation of the effect that she thinks her feelings and emotions would have on other people, right? It's an energy drain on them. She can't interact with other people. She can't touch other people without energy draining them. Um, so, like, the Sawari Neko is literally just a perfect representation of just the way that Hanakawa thinks about herself and her problem here, right? So, again, it's just a pretty crazy coincidence that it just so happened that she buried this cat, and this cat possessed her, and it's just the perfect thing that she wanted this whole time, that's representative of all of her problems. And again, and she was having the headache before she buried the cat. So just that alone is just making me think, like, it's not a possession. It just isn't. It's like I guess it's a possession in the sense of, like, Hanakawa thinks it should be a possession, and, like, that's what she wants, so, like, it took that form, I guess. Um, I don't know. It's really just, like, the chicken and egg thing of, like, what an aberration is, and what forms them. Because, like, the problem is so obviously formed by Hanakawa in the way that she views it, like, the aberration in this case. So, like, the metal cat exists and is an aberration, but I feel like it exists and is an aberration because of the way Hanakawa thinks about her problem. Like, which I guess is what Oshino was saying in the last episode. Or was that the first episode? No, there's the last episode, right? About, like, what, like, forms aberrations and what gives them, like, their qualities. Hmm. And, like, I don't know. It's just weird to think about, I guess. It's just weird to think about. Because, like, Hanakawa's wrong, right? Hanakawa's wrong about her emotions and her feelings, obviously. Like, it's not true that her sharing her feelings or emotions with other people will hurt them and energy drain them. And, like, the aberration taking that form and, like, proving her right in that sense, it's just because that's how she views the problem. So her problem has manifested in that way because that's how she thinks it should manifest. So I guess that's just what keeps tripping me up here. And I guess, like, for Araragi too, like, the way Araragi views her, like, he is thinking about her being the metal cat and her being possessed. Because, like, I think he wants her to be. He says here during this, like, internal monologue about how, like, his illusion of her has been shattered in a way. But he's still thinking of her as being possessed in this moment, right? It's not like he still hasn't recognized that this just is Hanakawa, and that this is, that she isn't the perfect thing that he always thought she was, you know? So, of course, he wants her to be possessed. He wants this to just be an aberration that's making her do this. He doesn't actually want to recognize her problem and, like, think about it or fix it, you know? Because I don't, he just can't. Like, he just doesn't think of her in that way, you know? He thinks it's just something attacking her that's just like, hmm. And of course, yeah, and yeah, he thinks the thing about how he doesn't even have the right to know, he doesn't have the right to help her, you know, all of that. It's just, yeah, it's just I talked about it in the first episode about how like that's why he hasn't helped her with her problem, right? Because for one, there's nothing you can do. It's Hanakawa's problem. She like, come on. Also, I mean, like it's Hanakawa's problem, but in the sense of like not specifically her parents, but like her attitude about her own emotions and feelings, right? Like that's the actual thing that needs to be fixed. It's not just her problem with her parents, right? Um, and then it's like Aragi doesn't think that he has the right to help her. You know, he's just thinks he's a loser. You know. Hmm. And like I don't know, just like the weird transactional way Aragi thinks about relationships. He really loves forming debts with people. You know, like hmm. He feels yeah. It's like I guess like here's what's going on here. Like he thinks he has like an obligation or responsibility to help her with her problems and to like because she did so much for him during spring break and she's been so awesome he should feel responsible and help her with her issues. But he thinks he's human garbage and isn't worth anything compared to her. So he thinks he like doesn't deserve to help her. Like I wonder how much like the love thing factors into it too. Like he has this weird view of love that I just like. I feel like he would think that if he's only helping her because he's in love with her, then that like wouldn't be a good thing. You know what I mean? Like he would think that that's like an excuse that goes against like what justice is. And that if he's only wants to help her because of his infatuation with her, then it's like it's just awful. It's just a bad thing, and he shouldn't do that. I don't know. It's so hard to like understand his thoughts in this moment, I guess, about what love is for him. I guess like he has obviously has this super idealistic view of what love is. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. It's something, I guess. This shot reminds me of the shots we would get of Hanakawa lying on her bed like this in the was that the last episode of Bakemonogatari? It was one of the episodes of Tsubasa Cat when Black Hanakawa was explaining Hanakawa being in love with Araki to Araki. Which just think about how ridiculous that all that was after we get this arc. Like, come on. But of course, I guess, obviously this arc is gonna end with Aragi having convinced himself he's not in love with Hanakawa. And like, I don't think it really changes his view of Hanakawa. Like, of course, he's not gonna think Hanakawa's in love with him after this arc, right? Because obviously that was just like unbelievable to him and Bake. Hmm. And what we're like the first day of Bake was May 8th, right? So we're like I mean we are like right up against it now, right? I don't think I have that date wrong. So man, we are there. So Oshino got owned by the Metal Cat, by the Sawari Neko. Um, which is interesting. Like I guess to me it just plays more I don't know. It just plays more into the fact that it's just obvious that like Oshino was like either wrong about what the Metal Cat is. He keeps saying that it's like so weak and it should be so easy to defeat and all of this. Or like just the way he's explaining it is like I don't know. It's almost like he's hiding something. Not really that he's hiding something maybe. I don't know, it's just weird that he talks about it in this way, when to me it just feels so obvious, like, what's going on here. Especially, like, going along, I guess, with everything that he just said in the last episode about what makes an aberration, and, like, changes what they are, like, your view of them, you know? It's so obvious that, like, Hanakawa and the way she views her problems is what is making this aberration the way it is. So, and I feel like Oshino is a specialist, that should be super obvious, too. And I guess he kind of says that here, with, like, saying that it's, like, the combination of them, you know? But I don't know, I feel like he just doesn't really say it that clearly, like, to Araragi, you know? Hmm. And, like, what would Araragi think about, if Araragi actually understood what was going on here? And that, like, this isn't just her being possessed, and that this is just, like, a representation of an underlying problem that she has. What would he think about it? Like, I don't know, I don't know. I guess, like, more so, I'm thinking even more so just about his disillusionment with her, and him viewing her as a perfect saint and all of that. I guess, like, his realization that the reason why she seems like a perfect saint to him is, like, the basis of that is, like, not a good thing, and is this problem that she has about her emotions. Maybe, like, that realization, and him not wanting to think that, and him not wanting to undermine, like, his idea of her being perfect, is, like, why he has this resistance to seeing the problem for what it is. I guess, like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Hmm. I mean, because it's like, obviously the story that Araki tells in just a second about the legend of the cat that, like, wasn't real and all that, and blah 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 blah. It obviously just completely applies to Hanakawa, right? I just don't. Hmm. Like, I guess, like, the important thing here is it's not, like, literally, like, I don't think it's literally Hanakawa herself going around and attacking people for fun, right? Like, her behavior is being influenced by the Sawari Neko, which is really just her problem in the way she views it, because that is her problem in the way she views it, right? Like, she basically, like, made this aberration affect her in this way, right? So it is affecting her, and it is, like, possessing her, but just because of, like, that's what she thinks it should be doing. You know, like, I don't know, it's so weird to, like, think about, I guess. Hmm. And I guess, like, it's weird that, like, Oshino is talking about it as, like, she will disappear if they don't rescue her from this, because, like, again, in my mind, the the Sawari Neko, Black Hanakawa, and everything that it represents is part of Hanakawa, right? Like the negative emotions, or not, again, not even the negative emotions, just emotions in general that Hanakawa has, and her feelings, and her, like, personal needs as a person. Um, they are part of her, right? The only reason it's manifesting in this negative way is because of the way she thinks of it herself, right? So I guess just talking about it in this way of saying, like, oh, she'll disappear if we don't, you know, do something about it. It's just so weird to me, because I guess, like, in my mind, the way to fix it, or, like, the solution here would be to her to stop thinking of it in that way, and, like, accept what Black Hanakawa is and represents, and, like, I don't know, I don't know. It's just so weird, because, like, it's just obviously just wrong to me to, like, view it in that way, you know. But I guess, again, it is, like, in the situation they're in the way that, like, it's manifesting as an aberration, it makes sense, I guess, right? Because, like, she is going around and attacking people, and it is, like, I guess you could say she would be lost forever if they don't do something, because Hanakawa thinks that she would be lost forever because of the way she views her problem. So I guess the aberration would manifest in that way, and it probably would, like, do that to her, I guess. And yeah, there's never a cat in the first place, which is, like, I guess, like, if we take that, like, there is a cat in the sense of the aberration is real, but it's not actually just a possession of Hanakawa from an outside force. It's just her problem in this case, you know? Like, hmm, I don't know. I don't know. We're really getting into the weeds here, I guess. And I don't, it's very interesting. We keep getting these shots of Araragi feeding Shinobu while we are talking about this. And I guess it has to mean something, right? There has to be some kind of relation between like Araragi and the stuff he thinks about Shinobu and like the conversation they're having right now. Like the act of him feeding her. I guess I just don't really know what. I can't really think of anything. I guess like Shinobu is almost like the dark side of Araragi and like things in his life that he's unhappy with, decisions he's made, the same way like Black Hanakawa is representative of like the dark things that Hanakawa thinks of her own life, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. And Araragi replaced himself with a tree. So that's I don't know. They got fooled, I guess. He goes in here, he wants to lick Hanakawa's desk, of course. Like, I guess again, this just to me just seems like an Araragi-ism, you know, his whole thing of I almost like I don't know. It's almost like he's just pretending that whenever he has these, you know, when he acts like this and has these weird sexual things that he does and says, it's like obvious that that's not like that's not. I don't believe him that that's what he's thinking about right now. He's thinking about like Hanakawa and what she means to him and every like. I don't know. I don't know. Like, and she is here to have a chat. I feel like we've already kind of preempted everything I would say about this discussion, but like yeah, I don't know. We've talked about why I feel like Araragi views Hanakawa in this way, why he would want to view her as being possessed, why she wants to view herself as being possessed, right? Um, yeah, her saying like it's a, you know, it's a character trait. She can't control it because, of course, that's how she views herself and her emotions, right? Right. If she tries to, you know, have a connection with anyone of any kind, she'll drain them, you know. And I guess in that sense, that feels like that even plays into like Araragi's thing about humanity, you know, and like not forming connections with other people, right? And like Hanakawa being such a saint and being unable to connect with other people, you know. Hmm. 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 And maybe, and like, I guess even more so, thinking about even more about how Hanakawa views her issue here. It's like, I guess she would also want the thing possessing her to be evil, right? Like she wants Black Hanakawa to be this evil thing that goes around attacking people for fun. Because again, that's how she views her emotions and her, you know, her putting her problems on other people, her being a burden on other people, you know. So, oh man, yeah, like, hmm. And like, I guess her just going around and attacking people is like, it reminds me, of course, of the whole thing about her, like, you know, being a burden on other people. It's like her, it being a negative impact on other people. And again, I guess it's just like the idea of it being like evil, you know, it going around and attacking people, right? Yeah, sure, sure. And like the way Black Hanakawa like trivializes her own actions, saying here that it's like, oh, it's just I'm just having fun, just going around attacking people. It's like the way Hanakawa thinks that her emotions and everything should just be these trivial things that she doesn't want to bother other people with. You know, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's just I don't know. It's just like perfect. It's just I can just see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just if any of the aberrations have been perfectly representative of a character's problem, it's this one. You know, like, hmm, And like, I guess Aragi, him thinking this, it's like him. Hmm. I don't know. I guess this is the illusion cracking more for him about her. Maybe. I guess because I guess in my mind I would think that he's so locked in on being convinced that Black Hanakawa has to be purely an aberration and has nothing to do with Hanakawa herself. That's just how I would think he would want to view the problem. Oh. Hmm. And like, I wonder too if Hanakawa feels like, assuming Hanakawa is like in there still, which like we know she is, depending on how much like agency Hanakawa has over her actions right now, like how much the aberration that she like created is like literally affecting her or not. I wonder like what she thinks about the situation she's in right now and like Aragi and Oshino's actions. I feel like she would almost feel like betrayed in a way, that like she had to do this crazy shit and be affected by an aberration and start attacking people in order to finally like for Araki and Oshino to like help her in some way, like. And it's that they aren't even really helping. I mean, Oshino's not really helping her. He's just trying to attack her, like. And I guess Aragi isn't really trying to help her either. Still, so because again, I mean, like we know why, right? And I don't know this whole stuff about Hanakawa having no emotion and no pity for the cat. Like I guess it's so hard for me to take this seriously because it's obviously so jaded by the fact that the words are coming from Hanakawa herself. Like it's almost like Black Hanakawa. Okay, I guess this is it. This is it, right? Like Black Hanakawa having no emotions and not caring at all about what Hanakawa does is like what Hanakawa wants from the kind of person who's going to help her. If she's so worried about her emotions affecting other people in any way at all, then what she wants for someone or something to come and help her is some emotionless thing that just doesn't care about what she does or thinks at all. And will just, won't be bothered by her feelings. Because, like, I guess I just don't, it's just interesting that she would talk about her own actions in this way because I don't believe her. I don't believe her that she just doesn't, that when she acts like a saint, as Aragi says, like burying this dead cat, that she just doesn't care and that she's just emotionless about doing it. Um, I don't think it's like that at all. Maybe she wants to tell herself that it's like that, because like if she thinks that sharing her own emotions with other people is like bad, if we like flip that around, then I guess she would think that if she feels like some kind of emotional obligation to help other people with their problems, she wouldn't want other people to think that she's feeling like that either. Because, like, obviously, I feel like she would project her problem on other people in that sense, that she would think others wouldn't want to think that she is being burdened by their problems or feelings. So I guess her justifying her actions like this, saying that she's not that bothered and she's just emotionless as she does things like this, then, like, I guess that makes sense, right? It's just obviously not true. Like, and like obviously it reminds me a lot of like Aragi and his like idea of justice, the whole idea of there being a rule or formula for everything. But it's obviously not true for Aragi either, right? Like I guess he does believe in there being a rule or formula. I guess it's just the emotionlessness part is obviously not true for either of them. So hmm. Yeah, yeah, just on a whim. Just a random thing came up on a whim, decided to help Hanakawa for no particular reason. That's perfect for her, right? Just what she wants. Hmm. The way she calls him a human. It's very interesting, you know? Like, how she... Because, like, right now in this moment, I guess she isn't a human, right? Like, it's best that you do nothing. And I feel like her saying this is like, you know, oh, she doesn't want to hurt Araragi in some sense, right? With her problem. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. And like Araragi says this, like I guess Araragi to me it feels like he has such a like basic understanding of her problem that like doesn't, you know, I guess he doesn't really understand the scope of the issue here. Right? So and I guess Hanakawa doesn't either. You know, Hanakawa doesn't either. She doesn't understand that it's her behavior that fundamentally has to change, like her, you know. So her inability to ask for help or to, you know, have a meaningful relationship with anyone at all. And yeah, he can't touch her. He can't touch her, and that's why he hasn't helped her. Hmm. Because I guess, like, Hanakawa wants Aragi to help her, but she doesn't want to hurt him in any way. She doesn't want him to be affected by her problem in any way. Which is just impossible. Like, I don't know. Like, shout out to Madoka Magica. Like, if we, you know, we literally, like, we just talked about this, about, like, the influence that, like, the blowback from helping someone else with their problem, thinking that it will be equal or even greater than, like, the effect that that problem is having on you. That's just, like, wrong. It's just, like, just the way she's thinking about it is just incorrect. I just and that's the problem. That is just the fundamental issue with Hanakawa and Araragi in this sense. You know, is it's like Araragi doesn't want Hanakawa to feel bad for negatively impacting him in any way. But that's just like his go-to thing. His go-to thing for helping people is to kill himself for them. So it's not gonna work out. Like and now he's convinced that he's in love with her. So I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. Like, um, I literally don't know. I don't know why. I don't know how he's convinced himself he's in love with her now. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. But no, but he says it's not love, that it's more than love, and he wants to kill himself for her. So like, I guess obviously if we think about like what Aragi thinks love is, like I guess that makes sense. If he like, it makes sense that he would think the ultimate form of love is one to die for her, you know, which is just the the batshit crazy thing, of course, that he would think that, you know. Hmm. I just think Aragi doesn't know what love is at all. I just think that's the problem here, right? That just has to be it. Like, I just, man. But of course he wants to die for her. Of course, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like normally I'm not. I feel like I can normally get like a good read on Aragi. In this case, it's hard for me to understand his thoughts or feelings. And I feel like in that sense, they're just like nonsense. Like what he's thinking here is just like crazy. There's just no. I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. Well, maybe the last episode will clear everything up for me, I guess. So, hmm. I guess that's it. I guess that's it. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And I will see you in the next one.